Hello students, in today's lecture we will learn how to insert a connector and modify the connector in our drawings. So a connector is basically a device or a component that is used to connect wires from source to another components. So there are a few methods to insert a connector. The first one is if you move to the menu tab, you will see that there is a component. If you click on the component, here comes the insert connector. So from here we can insert a connector. So that's the first method, and we can also insert a connector using a command which is AE connector. So from the command line we can also insert a connector. The third method is go to here, and you can see here is an option drop down menu. If you click on it in the insert component panel, we can insert the connector from this list also. So that's the third method, and we can also insert a connector from the icon menu. Go to icon menu. There is an option miscellaneous. No, connectors. Terminals and connectors. If you move to terminals and connectors, go to connectors. There are other connectors also, like these plug right up, or but we will only deal with that one, parametric build. We will deal with this option. So this is our fourth method to insert a connector. So when you want to insert a connector, this is the dialog box that is all related to connector settings. So the first one, you can see about the layout, the pin spacing. We can change the pin spacing, and it will change the spacing. We can also change the number of pins. We can also enter 1, or we can also enter 12. So we can enter any value of how many pins we would require in our drawings. Always try to leave some extra pins in your drawing so that you may use that pins for future purposes. If you need 5 connector pins, you may use 7 or 8 pin connectors. So another option is fixed spacing. Spacing between the pins will be fixed, mean it will be specified as 1.2. We can also pick the spacing from our drawing and insert that value. From here, like, we can also enter the spacing value. So it will also change its spacing according to that value. There is another option at wire crossing. Mean the spacing will automatically be adjusted based on the wires crossing. If we want to insert a connector on the wires, we will look about all the features about a connector. Pin list, like it will start from 1. If you click 11, it will start, the numbering will start from 11, and it will be incrementing order. So the numbering will be in incrementing order. Insert all mean I have to insert all the pins of the connector at a time. If you want to allow spacers or break, if you want to allow this connector to break at a point, then you will have to click that option. If you want to enter the connector as a child, then you have to click that option. And either you maybe want to enter the child component connector but also break the child component, then you have to check that box. So we will only move with that option. And there are 2 options in orientation. We can rotate the connector and we can flip the connector in from here. So there are actually 2 types of connector that we will talk about. One is a plug, while the second one is receptacle. So these are actually 2 types of combination of connectors. Today we will only talk about plug combination. So we want to enter the plug combination. I want to insert the connector with 5 pin numbers. So enter the connector, insert the connector, and the numbering will start from 1. So I want to insert the connector. Right now you can see there are many options like specify insertion point, or Z for zoom if you want to zoom the connector, pane the connector, X wire crossing. If you have wires and you want to cross the pins on the wires, then you have to enter X and enter. And if you want to rotate your connector horizontally or vertically, then you have to enter V. And either you want to flip the connector. Actually we have 4 methods to flip a connector. And before placing the connector, if you click tab key, we can flip the connector in 4 different orientations. To enter V, it will switch between horizontal and vertical orientations. So these two methods are for accurate placing of a connector. So let's suppose move with the default value and I want to insert the connector, press enter, or insert the connector. Now in the description, you can enter the description and move to lookup table. You will find the different types of connectors based on with different pin numbers. You can see the pin numbers will change depending on the type of connector. So there are actually many types of connectors. 5 pin is insert the codes, location codes, and also insert a description line. Other options I want to leave it. The parent terminal pin list was changed. Click OK. You can see I have actually 2 pin numbers on connector. So this is actually the connector. This is the plug and receptacle combination. So this is actually plug and receptacle combination. That's why I get the numbers on both sides. So I can connect wires on both sides. If you want a connector only, connector pins only on one side, then you have to move to details and check that box, plug only. You can see it will only, you can only enter or connect wires on only one side. If you click that one, you can enter or insert wires or connect wires on that side. If you click that one, plug or receptacle combination, you can insert wires or connect wires on both the sides of connector. It will change the wire number. If you want to change the wire numbers, then you can check that box. And a divider line like that one, if you want to divide the connector into sections. And you can do multiple things, like you can see in the display list, there is a connector that is in my vertical position. I can also change its orientation from here, move it vertical or horizontal. I can change the plug right and left side. So these are 2 orientation or plug orientations, like I want to move it towards left or right. Pins on both sides. On plug side, if only you used to insert the pin numbers only on one side. So these are different methods, and if you want to hide the numbers, you can do that. Size, the receptacle size pins, receptacle size, plug, top, you can change these values. So right now I want to only insert the plug only connector. So insert that one, and I can change its orientation like that way from tab by entering the tab key. It will insert a connector. You can see it only has 1 digit. If you want to enter or connect wires on that one, and let's suppose I want to start from here, enter another wire. You can see the wire is not accurately connecting on both sides. You have to take care and place the wires accurately. Now my wires are accurately placed on both the sides of the connector. So we have to take care about the orientation, about the connection of wires. Now if I want to connect wires on that connector, if I want to go there like that way, I can only connect the wires on one side, not on the both sides. But here I can connect wires on both the sides because it is a plug and receptacle combination. So these are 2 methods and 2 types of connectors that are important in our list. Now if you want to insert or allow spacers or break, like let's suppose I want to change its numbers to 7 and I don't want to insert the whole connector at a time, I want to add spacer or breaks, then I have to click that option and see what will happen. I'm going to insert the connector, but every time at every pin it will allow me, or it will show me this dialog box. Inserted so far 1 of 7, only 1 pin is inserted. Total are 7 pins, and it give me 4 options, like I want to insert next connection, or either I have to enter a spacer or break symbol. Now if let's suppose I want to insert next connection, it will insert the second option. Now I want to add spacer, so it will skip the third pin. It will not insert the third pin value, and it will skip that value. You can see it doesn't inserted the spacer. Now I have also inserted another spacer. Now I want to insert next connection, and now break the symbol at that location. I want to break that symbol, just click that one, and now you can see the symbol is now inserted. Only these pins are inserted, and it is now broken down into another section. The same connector is divided into two sections, so I want to insert that one right here, and allow spacer or breaks for this connector piece. Or I want to insert all the connectors. Let's suppose move with that option. I don't want to break this piece of a connector. At wire crossing, if you have wire, then you can check that box, or fixed spacing, okay. Then you can see it's my second connector divided into two sections. And the numbers are missing here. Two numbers are missing because I have selected the option which is 8 spacer, so the two numbers are not shown here. These are hidden, and these are the total number of 7 pins. Now if you want to connect wires, let's suppose I want to insert a component and click OK. Just like we have learned in how to connect multiple wires to a component, so that's the same method. Just move your wires. You will see only the pins are, these 3 pins are connected, so the space is left like we have add spacer. Now if you want to enter wires to the other section, click here and move your wires. So in this way we can add spacer and breaks between two connectors. So if you want to click on that edit component, you will see it has PL3, and that one is also PL3. It will automatically adjust it itself. Its name will be same because it is the same connector. But if you want to, let's suppose you want to enter that one as a child of this one, then you have to click on this option, edit component now. But I have to first enter it as a child. Now we want to enter a child component. Let's see how we can relate that child component with another parent component. I don't want to allow spacer or break. I want to insert it all, and now start connector as child. I don't want to insert start with breaks. So enter 5 points and move with that one, that option, enter, click OK. Now this is the menu of child component. I want to make it as a parent of as a child of another component, so I want to click that one, and its tag name will be automatically changed to that parent name. We can add the descriptions and cross-reference numbers, so that is the first reference, cross-reference of that parent value. Click OK, and you can see all the details of that connector is linked with this connector. Now we want to move this connector. Just go to move component and move it here. Now as these two are related to each other, so we want to connect it with linked wires. These two components are linked together. Now if you want to change the settings of this connector, there are a few more options I want to show you. Like let's suppose move with that one. If you right click your mouse, you will see all the details about the editing attribute settings. So you can edit the component from here. You can change the tag name, you can change the descriptions, cross-reference, you can do any more details, like you can change the locations, even you can move from the project list. So that is the edit component. And if you want to delete that component, simply click that option, and if you want to move that component, just move your component like that way, but the wires will not move with your component. If you want to move your component along the wires, then you have to enter the scoot command. The wires will also automatically be updated with the components. So copy component, I want to copy this that component here, and as it is that is a child of the same child. If you want to click that one and click OK, You can see it's now the child of, this is another child of that component, which is the parent of these two. So now again I want to delete that component. Just go to that option and delete. The component will be deleted. So we will talk about it right now. And rotate the connector. Just select that option and click on the connector. Select connector to rotate. It will rotate in horizontal and vertical directions. It will rotate in that way. So you can see the wire numbers are also rotating with that connector. You can, if you want to hold attributes at original orientation, then the number will not be changed with the connector. If you want to rotate the connector, now I have hold the connector. Now if I don't want to hold the orientation attributes, so again I want to change it. You can see it remain at the same locations. It will not rotate with the attributes will not rotate with the connector. You can see its orientation is fixed now, it's hold now. So these are the different methods to change its settings. You can see there is just like a stretch connector. For stretch connector, if you click here, I cannot stretch on that way because I can only stretch the connector on towards that section, because I have entered here just like here. If you click below the middle point of the connector and stretch the connector, now I can stretch the connector in below section. There are two options to stretch the connector. If you click above the connector, then you can stretch the connector towards the upward direction. But if you click here right below the midpoint, then you can stretch the connector towards downward direction. To split the connector, just where you want to split the connector, enter the point on the connector and reposition jog lines. This dialog box, like you say, you can see child base point, where you want to pick you want to insert the child component and what is your point. I have selected that point, so it shows the dimensions of that point. And break type, no lines. If you don't want to break, if you want to break the component, but it will not show the above or below lines. Straight line, it will show the straight line. Jog lines, it will show the lines like that option, that way. In that way it will jog lines. I will prefer that option. Draw it seems you can change the layer of the, from here you can pick any of the layer. So I can now place my child component. I will insert that child component in that way, but the wire is not inserted properly, so you have to take care about split the connector. I want to split it right here. So you can see we have split the connector right now, and the line is jogged line. So these are jogged lines. You can see these are jogged lines. So in this way we can split our connector. Now if you want to move the connector pins, just click your connector pin, and where you want to place the pins, click that region, and you can place the connector according to your settings. Insert wire, if you have, I have clicked here, so I want to insert wire. I can insert the connector where I have clicked the connector. I can insert the wire at only that location. So this way we can insert wire, multiple wire bus. We can also connect multiple wire bus from that option. Just go with that option. So these are the different settings, like add connector pins. I want to add connector pins. What is, you want to specify where to insert new pin, or there are 5 pins already on that connector. Now the next pin will automatically be 6 point. We can also change it, like I want to change it to A6. Click enter. Now I have to enter the new pin is A6. Let's suppose I want to enter here, and the next pin will automatically be updated A7. So in this way we can add pins at multiple locations. We can delete connector pins. If you want to delete these pins, just click that on the pins numbers. And swap connector pins, if you want to swap these 2 pins, just click on that pins and they will be swapped with one another. I want to swap these 2. just go to that pin numbers, and the numbers will be automatically be swapped. Attributes list, move attribute, you want to move the wire numbers. Let's suppose I want to move these two wire numbers. Base point, let's suppose that is my base point, and I want to move these wire numbers right here. And now again I want to insert multiple bus on this connector. You can see I have only entered because I have inserted the numbers here, so that's why it inserted wires on only that location. For moving the wire numbers, you have to adjust the points, then you have to manually set the settings. Hide attribute, I want to hide these two pins like here. I just click on that. You can also hide the name of the tag name of the connector. So these are the different settings. Like we want to squeeze attribute, rotate the attribute. We can rotate the attribute numbers just like that one. We want to, sometime we want to rotate these numbers. And stretch attribute text or attribute size, we can change the attribute size. So these are the different settings. If you want to change the connector settings from that menu, like I want to insert another connector and I want to change the settings of connector from another method, go to edit components and right click here, left click here in the edit component dialog box on just move here. You will see the another options like reverse connector. You want to reverse the connector, rotate the connector, stretch connector, split, add connector pins. We have already discussed all about these components, move connector pins and swap connector pins. Now let's suppose we want to add few wires to connector. I want to enter pin counts 10 and not with child component. I want to insert all as a parent component, and my pin numbers, let's start from A1. Insert, click on insert, enter right here, just click OK. Now I want to first draw a single wire bus, but I want to insert 10 wires. Just draw the 10 wires, horizontal wires, and I want to insert the connector at wire crossing. That is my another option, which is at wire crossing. I want to insert the connector at wire crossing. So when you want to insert the connector, you have to take care about the orientation, about the placement of connector. Otherwise the wire will not connect accurately to your connector. If you click here, we can also flip the connector right in that positions. We can also change like horizontal or vertical direction. We can also change the connectors from by just clicking the V. Now insert the connector right here and see whether our connector is placed accurately or not. So all the wires are accurately connected to this connector. So that is the option. If you have already drawn lines, drawn wires, and you want to insert the connector on that wires, then you have to go to that option at wire crossing. Now if you want to enter wires, like I want to enter these wires, go horizontal and 10 wires, and if you do not move the wires accurately above the points, above the pins, then it will not, the wire will not accurately connected. So you can see that all the wires are accurately connected to this terminal. So you have to take care about connecting these terminals. Now let's suppose move with another options. I want to insert a location box here. Let's suppose insert a location box. Note, no existing components found in location block box, as I have no components in my list. So click, enter these values, and text height, nothing is much important. Junction box, yeah, I want to enter it to main junction box. Junction box, we can change the height of text and enter OK. Insertion point is top of the point, we can change it. That is my junction box. Now I want to change its line type. I want to change it to block. So my line type is changed now. Now similarly add few more connectors, junction box, box 1, enter OK, and also change its line type to continuous line. Inserting another box in that way, enter OK, box 2, enter OK, change its line type to continuous. Now I want to insert connector on these boxes. Just go here and let's suppose enter, yeah, pin list is same, and I want to insert the plug only type or receptacle type on that side. Insert all pins, just move your, yeah, change all snip settings off for accurate placement of connector. Yeah, you can see I have moved my connector to on above the junction box. Just right here, you click here and give it name main connector. Main connector, click OK. So my connector is placed above the junction box. Now I want to insert two more connectors above that points, but with plug only. I want to give the different pin numbers and change the pin numbers from 1. Insert the connector above the junction box, enter OK. It is placed here. Now inserting another connector with 5 pins and change its pin numbers to 11. With same arrow orientations, click here and click OK. Now what I want to do is I want to add few wires and connect few wires from this connector to that connector and to that connector. Go to multiple bus, insert multiple wires from the component. Now I have to enter the pin numbers, which pin numbers I want to connect. Let's suppose I want to insert only these these 4 pins. Click enter, move your mouse like that way. I want to flip these wires, just enter F and all the wires will be flipped. Now I want to connect these wires to these pins. So how can I connect these wires? You can see I cannot connect these wires to these pins because these wires are not placing accurately. So for here you have to enter C and enter. Now you can see my wires are fixed there. Now I want to move my mouse like in that way and insert the wires at that locations. You can see my wires are accurately placed here, but you have to take care about these type of changes. You can see these wires are connected now, so it will create problems. You have to take care about these things. Now inserting another wire, and I want to connect these wires to here. I want to insert a window, only connecting the lower 4 pins. Yeah, it's fine. Click C, enter, and now I can accurately place my wires on the pins I want to connect. So in this way we can connect wires. Similarly, we can connect single wire in that fashion. So if I want to connect that wire to here, you can see it will flip over the other wire. So I want to enter C here and now move my wire in that location. It will change its look from horizontal to vertical orientation. It will adjust itself. The wire will adjust itself. So in this way we can connect multiple wires from one connector to another components or another connectors. So this is the fastest way to connect the different wires from one connector to another connector. So we can wire numbers. You will see these wires will have same numbers because these are all actually connected together. So you have to take care about such problems.